From the Great Central Fire, today, a great episode with a longtime Ogichi camper and staff and a good friend of mine, just a remarkable young woman. Sarah Upson was a camper back at Ogichi from 2010 to 16 and then on staff for a few years following that. We just sat down and had a great talk about, her time at Ogichi. She had some great trip stories that she talked about. The LDAC program we touched on. We were able to get into talking about the impact that Kathy Dix had on Sarah with some of the teaching moments that she had with Kathy. We shared thoughts about her family and her family property in Ohio that we all share and go out and visit a lot. And of course, we talked about her late father, Steve Upson, who's just a great person, and her grandfather, Jim Upson. So this is a great visit. Please sit back and relax and enjoy our talk with Sarah. I think you'll really enjoy it. And also note that soon I will be headed to Deer Island, which I am so excited about. And I am going to hook up with some old timers that you're going to really want to hear on some future podcasts coming up here shortly. So for today, sit back and enjoy our talk with Sarah Upson. From the Great Central Fire, a great guest and a former Ogichi camper and staff, starting back in 2010, and a name that's been around Ogichi for a while, and also at Cochrane, and even going back to Fairwood with your grandfather. But our guest today is Sarah Upson, and Sarah, it's great to see you again, and we appreciate you joining the show today.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Jeff.
We're going to tell a lot of stories today.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get into a bunch, but I know how you found out about camp. We'll get into that. But what are you doing now, Sarah? What are you working? Where's your job? Where are you living? Give us an update on what's going on.
Yeah, I'm here in Cincinnati still, where I grew up, and I'm working as a clinical microbiologist at a hospital here. So doing different testing for a patient sample to see what bacteria they're growing, and then telling them what antibiotics they can use for that to treat different infections. So
wow, yeah, but you're enjoying it.
Yeah, now, it's been good.
Weren't you involved with I want to say veterinarian, going that route, or equestrian even possibly back in the day? Am I right here saying that?
Yeah, I definitely was interested in going to vet school and everything, but it's a hard job. I did some work at a vet hospital here doing lab stuff for them, but you might be remembering equestrian because I do ride horses, so I've done that on and off. So okay,
and you started. I've known you for a long time because your parents and I are close. You started off Colorado State, I want to say. Didn't you go there and then you transferred back to Ohio State? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. Definitely. I think I picked Colorado State at first. I think we did a backpacking trip in the Rawa Mountains.
Oh, yeah.
We drove through Fort Collins, and I was like, this is pretty cool. And they had a good vet school and stuff. So I initially went there and then just redecided about vet school, and then came back to Ohio State and switched to microbiology and stuff.
Okay. And you're living on your own now? You left your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw your mom at the farm about a couple weeks ago or whatever it was. And we'll talk about what the Upson Farm's all about. We'll get into that. But yeah, she said that you're out on your own now. And how far away from mom are you?
I'm pretty close still. So nice to go visit her, walk the dogs with her, my dog and her dog. So
yeah, good. And Zach, now your brother Zach with the camp. A lot of people know Zach.
Yeah.
He's got a new job, I think your mom was saying.
Yeah.
He's done. Is he graduating this spring?
He graduated last spring with bachelor's, and then last December with his master's.
That's right. Okay.
So he's out in the workforce full time.
But here in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your dad and I go back a ways, and we can talk about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But your time at Ogichi, I mean, obviously you found out about camp through your dad and your grandfather. Your grandfather, Jim Upson, was actually a Fairwood camper back in the day. And then when that all moved to Cochrane, when Holden and Mason moved out to Cochrane, he joined into Cochrane. And then of course, your dad came up there. That's where I met him. And but you started at Ogichi in 2010.
That sounds right. Yeah, yeah.
And I think you were a camper from 10 to 16.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you were on staff for a while from like 2017 to 20.
Yep.
Is that about right?
Yeah.
And then you got into college and the work and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me about your time at, I mean, did you like it from day one when you got there? I mean, what was your take when you got to Ogichi there?
Yeah, it was definitely cool, like, over the years, seeing Ogichi grow, like, kind of as I grew. Like, my first summer, we still had, like, all the Rainy Lake Lodge buildings, and I was, like, staying in one of the old cabins there. There might have been a mouse in my cabin, but it was all right. It was fun. Like, we had, like, a couch. It was kind of, like, fun, like, just cozy, like, it was definitely different. And then, like, as the summers went on, like, building more new cabins and eventually, like, getting our new lodge and everything. I realized, like, the other day, like, we did some work on my mom's back porch and, like, did, like, some new construction. And I realized I really associate the new construction wood smell with Ogichi just because, like, there would be so many new buildings, like, when I was there. So that was funny.
So you saw the whole thing grow.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, basically.
From the ground zero all the way.
Like my first summer, like, I think we still went to Cooch for some activities. Like, I remember going to do, like, archery there. Like, we would, like, boat back and forth. This, like, Ogichi just had nothing built yet.
Right. And by the time you left as a staff in 20, I mean, everything was pretty much in place, I take it.
Yeah, pretty much built. Yeah, I think they're still, like, adding some stuff that I haven't seen. Like, I think we have, like, a climbing wall maybe now.
You haven't seen that?
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Yeah, I think there's other stuff, but all the main stuff was, like, built in.
I just know because I go up and see Bart a little bit and Peg early. They pickleball courts. Have you seen those?
Oh no,
there were pickleball courts. There's a climbing wall out on the ball field now. There's a weight training center, I want to say, or an activity center right there on the edge of the ball field by the pickleball courts.
Yeah,
that may be something new.
Yeah.
And then they're building, a couple cabins here and there. That they put on the hill there. And then I know now they're working on an alumni house up on Elders Ridge up there. Bart's heavy into that, and they're going to try to dedicate that, I think, in August. So that'll be a place for people to go back and visit. So have you been back since 20?
I haven't. And I didn't even, because in 2020, it was all COVID. So my last one was all like, not really, like, I think I did some online stuff, like trying to make documents for camp to use, but it wasn't a normal summer.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, hopefully you can come back up sometime and visit. I just, the Upson name up north is something good. And it's my goal too, by the way, Sarah, at some point in time, is to get the Boston Whaler, your dad's Boston Whaler, back up and running and back on Rainy Lake. There's a lot of people pushing me right now to get that thing done. So anyway, you're tripping up there. I mean, how did you like the trip, Sarah? I mean, was there a trip that you liked, or, people, do you still associate with many people that you were in camp with up there at all? Nowadays, I mean, I just saw Maddie Anderson. She just left right before you got here. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like I like tripping, like, from the very first trip, but I think as more trips, like, happened, like, liked it more and more and got more comfortable with it. Let's see.
You like the longer trips? You like to be out there a little bit longer. You're a big outdoors person. Yeah.
Yeah, the longer trips are fun. The, like, longest one I did was the Cochrane River with, like, Lindsay Weeble was our trip head for that one. Kind of like, I think that was, like, my CIT year. And that was about, like, 30 days.
Oh, wow.
But I think, like, my favorite of, like, the longer ones is the Bloodvein. That one is just, like, I feel like it's the first half of the route is just really hard portages, and then you get rewarded with all the fun rapids in the second half of it.
Yeah, that's a great trip.
Yeah.
And I think both camps still take that.
Yeah.
Great campsites, great. It's got everything, I've always said.
Yeah.
Portages, campsites, rapids, lakes.
Yeah.
It's got it all. It hits it all. So
I really like the English River too. I
Mhm.
think that's the trip I did the most of. Like I did once as a camper, and that was a journey as a camper because we had really bad weather for the first part of it. Like it was rainy and cold. Like I remember we had to help each other buckle our life jackets because our hands were just
Oh,
so
wow.
cold. We needed to like push them together, like one person on one side, one person on the other side, and like push it together. And I remember like getting to this one portage, like maybe like day 3 or 4, like we haven't seen the sun at all. And then the sun just came out and we were just like lying in our canoes and just feeling the sun on your skin. And
Yeah. I was talking to someone. It's funny you talk about that. When we talk about trips, in our days of tripping,
Mhm.
it's funny. I don't know if it's funny, but it's neat. And I'm not even sure if it's neat, but how people, when you remember from the trip, are the tough days.
Yeah, the tough days
You
definitely
remember the
stick
tough
with
days.
you.
They stick with you a little bit, don't they?
Mhm.
And we probably take the good days for granted too much.
Yeah.
But whenever I talk to people about trips, they'll immediately talk about a difficult time and they remember everything
Yeah.
about it, the
But
weather.
with a smile on
That's
their
right,
face, like
exactly.
remembering.
That's exactly right. Why did I do that to myself? But I love doing it,
Mhm.
Now, did you backpack at all?
I did a little bit.
Do you prefer one over the other?
I want to say canoeing, I guess, because there's something about being on the water and just like I like not having to worry as much about like the weight of your food. Obviously, like you want to keep the Wanigans not super heavy, but I feel like you can take a little bit more and do a little more like fancy food on the fire. I'm a big reflector oven baker, so I like doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. The little small cook groups, I wasn't.
Yeah.
And it's just a big portage is what.
Yeah.
I mean, it was needed to change of pace, but I think as I got older, I wanted rather do canoeing more than anything. So
it's nice for backpacking though. I feel like a lot more accessible to do, like, especially now, like that I'm not at camp, like it's easier to find maybe a couple people to go, like just do that than trying to haul a canoe somewhere or rent a canoe and try and do all that. It's a lot more logistics. So
right, absolutely. Do you talk to? I asked you this.
Yes,
do you talk to anybody still? I mean, from camp.
Yeah, I'm pretty close still with Morgan Hess, and I just talk with Geneva Webster. Try and keep good in touch with them. Other people, I feel like as life has gone, like we're still follow each other on like social media and kind of keep in touch a little bit through that. But I feel like with any of those people I've gone on trips with, like I feel like it can just pick right up back where like you left it.
Sure.
Like you might be doing other things in your life right now, but I feel like that reconnection is always possible.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah,
absolutely. Do you know Meredith Freshley?
Yeah, Meredith and Grace. Yeah,
and Grace
I'm
Gardner,
really
sure.
happy for them that they're going to be the directors. I'm excited for them. So I
Yeah.
think they're going to do great.
And they were there when you were there.
Yeah, they were both my counselors.
Okay.
So
Okay. I'm trying to get all the timeline of who was where and what and all that kind of good stuff. You talked about making a cake too. I remember watching a video. We can tie this in. Talking about the Upson
I forgot
farm.
I made that.
Yes, you made a video for the
That was summer 2020.
Is that what that was?
Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
that was what I was doing.
But if people have watched that video, that is actually done out at the farm, at the Upson farm, which is east of Cincinnati, out in Adams County. It's a great piece of property that you and I and your mom and your dad and your brother, and we've all spent a lot of time out there.
Yeah,
and it's a special place for us, The reflector oven's still there. I mean, the pan's still, I've used it.
Yeah.
So you were instructing us how to cook, to make a cake.
Yeah, trying to capture the knowledge and pass it down. It's fun to just be like, yeah, we made a cake when we were canoeing.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah, I got some buddies out there that I take deer hunting with, and they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm making a cake." And they're like, What?
Yeah.
On an open fire? How are you going to do this? I said, just go hunting. When you get back, I'll have a cake here waiting on you. Which we did. Their eyes were wide open. They couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So.
But the farm is great. I definitely grew up it's I feel like where I learned a lot of initial like camping skills, like we had the same type of tents camp used and like learned how to set those up and cooking on a fire and all that. So,
And your dad and your mom, I mean, he was a great teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, he was always instructing you out there. I know he was, because he did to me too, in the woods, about what was what, and showing you how to do things, and cooking and starting a fire, how to build a fire. I mean, you were probably ahead of the game by the time you got to Ogichi. Yeah.
Yeah, and just having that like appreciation for nature and everything.
Yeah. Identifying the birds and the everything. And your your grandfather would crack me up, because I tell people, you know, not only does he know whatever type of salamanders in the creek, it can tell you when its mating season is, what they do. I mean, it's unbelievable, you know, the knowledge that the two of those guys had, not only in the woods, but in general. I mean, about anything, fixing a car, building something, you know, all the things that, you know, he built. I mean, let's take the outhouse we've got out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is incredibly structured well by your dad.
Engineered, like.
It's just perfect, you know.
Yeah.
But the farm, though, tell me your thoughts of the farm. I mean, this place out in Adams County, and do you try to still get out there quite a bit, or?
Yeah, I try and get out there. I definitely don't get out there as much as like I want to. Just like with everything else in life, I feel like kind of settling into like a schedule of things, but getting out there is definitely fun. There's a bunch of ticks out there, a bunch of bugs, but
well, we gave your mom a spray that she needs to, and she took a picture of it. So we have a special type of things that really works really well. So she can let you know what that is when you go out next time. No, we were your mom and I were talking about that a little bit when she was out there. You know, you were probably you and Zach right now are in your life where it's maybe difficult to get out there as much as you'd like, but that'll come back around.
Yeah.
You know, as you get older and you get settled in a little bit.
Yeah.
But you that happened to, I think, your dad and I too for a while at that same age, you know. But as we got older, then we could, you know, things were settled more. We were able to go out there more, and you know, it's a great place to be. So
it is great.
Oh yeah. As a young kid, I don't know if I should tell this story.
Okay.
Your dad made probably one of the best Halloween costumes I've ever seen.
Okay.
You know what it was?
I could think of a few. Yeah. Do you think, is it the SpongeBob one?
The SpongeBob one. Yes. Out of a fan box, I believe. Yeah. He made a perfect SpongeBob.
Yeah.
And your dad and I first watched that show at my house up in Ada, Ohio. We were sitting on the couch one morning and this show came on. We had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a piece of quiche or something. I didn't know what. We were cracking up laughing through this whole show.
Yeah.
And then the next Halloween, of course, he makes the SpongeBob SquarePants, and it was a struggle for you to. He said you couldn't drop it.
Yeah, it was so heavy. Yeah. There's all this like foam on the outside of the box, you know, to make the SpongeBob. But it looked like dead on.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Well, what else? I mean, what else from Ogichi? Let's go back to Ogichi, and you know, you had a great time with Kathy Dix, the director at your time up there. Yeah.
She added a lot of like stories, I feel like, that are kind of integral to Ogichi. There's one that I really like about like 3 trees, about like this big pine tree, and I'm probably gonna butcher telling this story now, but there's a big pine tree and then this littler tree. I forget the type of tree, but then it wants to like grow big and tall like the bigger tree. And anyway, it's a big long story, but it's a story we would always tell at our like friendship dance. Like after friendship dance, we go in to like the activity center and we have like this candle ceremony and like say all goodbye. I'm pretty sure that's where you read the story.
Okay.
It's been a little bit. But that was good. There's like the Seat 29E story where like basically the story of like this person has the worst seat ever on the airplane. It's just terrible, and just like how you can change your perspectives on just different things in life to change how like you deal with the situation. And then kind of on the same lines of that is another story with like kind of how you react to adversity, whether you're the coffee bean who changes the boiling water they're in to be coffee, or if you're like a carrot or a hard-boiled egg, like I
Right.
don't know, these metaphors for how to deal with adversity, I feel like were all things she brought to camp.
And you remember all these things.
Yeah, they definitely
So they
stuck with me.
They stuck.
Yeah.
I mean, were there activities at camp, Sarah, that you really enjoyed? I mean, that you remember going back as a kid and as a staff? I mean, that you enjoyed doing at camp itself once it got up and got going, I
Yeah,
guess.
I feel like there are so many activities. I think one really unique to Ogichi is the weaving
Okay.
program. Like you get to basically like weave a whole, like you pick your colors of like fabric, and you get to like learn how to weave on a big like loom. And then Carol, who was running it, would like sew it into like either like a bag if you wanted a bag, or like some people made rugs. So like that was really cool. Like I feel like unique thing. Sailing was another fun activity that I got to do. Just like I remember having some fun like windy days where we'd almost like flip the sailboat over because we were going so fast. And I feel like people always have lots of good memories with that, or like tubing on the
Were you
like
on the
logo.
morning ski crew at all? Wasn't there a group that went out early in the morning skiing? I thought I had heard that story.
I think there might have been.
Okay, you weren't
I
on
wasn't
that.
on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would get up for like Polar Bear Club in the
Oh, yeah.
mornings. I like doing that for the hot chocolate, like being cold and then just getting warmed up with hot chocolate was a really nice way to start the day. Or like I think one summer we got really into fishing. I think like Sarah Howard would like take us down and like let us like go fishing in the mornings. We made a little fishing club one year. And like I think we caught one fish the whole summer. But
hey, it's not that. It's just the friends you're with and the bonds you make. And, you know, being able to tell it. That's
I think
funny
that was
though.
like Morgan, maybe like Casey Coates. A bunch of people. We just maybe MC Serrano. Yeah, a bunch of people.
Yeah. Well, you remember a lot of these people, you know, from your time there, which is awesome. You know, many people may not know this, but you know, we'll bring it up that we lost your father. Is it 4 years now?
That's
I think it's 4 years ago, I believe.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
It is hard to believe.
And I've talked to a few people, Sarah, that knew him very well, old alums that I've been talking with. And most everybody's done it, but there's been a few that said, oh, no, I didn't know that, you know. And the great comments that we've gotten about him and the fun that he had.
Yeah.
He was such a fun person at camp. And talking about, you know, the stories that Kathy, what she was trying to talk about, battling through adversities and things like that. Your dad, I mean, it could be raining every day.
Yeah.
And it didn't phase him one bit. And he was always having a good time.
Yeah.
And you were having a good time because he was having a good time. And, you know, Sarah, you know, you were with them. I was with them all the way through this whole battle that he had with the cancer. And he never complained one time. Not one time.
Yeah.
To the very end.
Yeah.
And I still got messages on my phone from him. Hey, Coles, I want to go out to the farm. I'm just looking at the weather. This message is too long. I got to go by. That's what he would do. And I'd hear you chuckling in the background at the end of the message. But I just want people to know, you know, what had happened. And I know you miss him. Yeah. I miss him terribly every day. And I hear from Pete Peffer quite a bit about how much he misses him. But he still lives on with us and through you and Zach. And, you know, he's just left us all in a great spot and with a great piece of property out in Adams County as well. So
I remember one camp thing that just popped in my head. I feel like he was telling a story one time. I think he was maybe like a counselor on a trip, and he was just telling some kid like who might have been having a hard time on a portage, like just grab some blueberries, their energy, like just eat some blueberries like along the way, like just like that attitude of just like.
Did he tell you any story? I mean, did everything? What do you remember about him sharing about camp? Anything? I mean, does anything stick out that he shared with you, good or bad or indifferent or?
It all kind of blurs together right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like I know we had a great time there, and it definitely like.
I don't know if you ever shared any stories or any goofy stories from his past at all. Or
yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm not. Just that blueberry one is just sticking in my head right now. Just that little detail, but yeah.
Yeah. Now, you guys, the other thing you guys did as a family every year, and I don't know if you've been back there, is around the July 4th time, you guys would go to North Carolina.
Yeah. We
with
used to
the
do
family
that before we started going to camp. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that all about? Now, tell me about.
Yeah, I think like my dad's like side of the family used to have like a house down there that we went to, and then basically like there's just like a July 4th celebration at this like inn, and sometimes like there would be like it was in the what are those mountains called? The
Poconos? No. Smokies?
Yeah, the Smoky Mountains. Yeah, thanks for helping me out. Yeah, just in the Smoky Mountains, there'd be like a couple mountains nearby that inn that we would hike to. There is like, I remember hiking. There's a lake,
golf course down there.
Yeah, golf course,
fishing.
Yeah,
but
there was a canoe regatta race that we did. So that was like prep for camp 2 to like learn how to canoe there and then try and win this canoe regatta. There would be like teams and paddle to the go around this dock, which we also did at camp. Like we had little canoe regatta race silly games to play, and those were always fun.
Yeah
But
what now, Ogichi, I mean, anything else that jumps out is just when you became staff? I mean, campers that you remember, or what jumps out as you? What do you remember there?
It definitely was like cool transitioning to staff to try and like remember the things that like my counselors did on my trips to try and make them special and fun, like doing like trivia to hand out a candy bar snack or something like that, just silly things, or different things like that. I remember one time Kit Summers, I think, made people give her compliments in order to give like your snack, and that was just like really silly.
So you had to give her compliments.
Yeah, you had to give Kit a really good compliment. Like think of the best compliment. And then she'd give you your snack.
Did you do that? You were on staff with her, or
no,
you had to do that?
That was a memory when I was a camper. But
do you remember the compliment you gave her?
I don't remember. Okay, it's so long ago. That was one of my first trips.
She's fun.
Yeah, she's fun. I guess one trip I'm thinking of right now. Well, this whole year I was staff for the English River both sessions. The first time was with Rosie Ecker, and I feel like I got to learn so much from her. I think that might have been my first like real trip as staff, maybe. I feel like I learned a lot from her of just like how to manage a trip and do all that. And then my second trip session was with Mara Timony, and we had so much fun that trip, but we had a lot of like kind of struggles too that like to learn from. I think like there's this one just little rapid that like we thought would be fine, so we were just gonna shoot it, but one of our camper boats got stuck on the biggest rock in the rapid. Like it was just huge out of the water rock, but their boat like just hit it the right way that they just totally got pinned on that rock. So the boat was pinned, and campers would float down. We got them to the shore, but then our like Wanigan lid in that boat popped off, and then we had like food floating down the river, and we were like, oh no! Like,
how early in the trip was this?
This was like not even halfway. Like we at least had halfway to go.
But you still had a lot of food floating down the river.
Yeah, we had a whole Wanigan of food lost. So we had to figure out how to get this boat out of there. We're trying to use our good like whitewater training skills we learned at the like we do like whitewater training for staff in the LDAC campers. The LDAC program was really good. I can talk about that later, but try to gear up like with rope and do leverage to like unpin the boat and try and use the water to like get the boat unpinned, but it was just stuck. We were trying for a long time, and then there's this cabin on the other side of the river from where we were on, and these people come out in like a motorboat, and they're like, "Hey, do you need any help?" And that's just like the spirit of the nice Canadians that like I've encountered on trips, and they use their motorboat to help like tow the boat off. And then the yoke of the boat had actually snapped, and that's why like the Wanigan had gotten loose, and because it just snapped from the pressure.
Yeah.
And obviously the yoke is really important to carry the canoe. I think this was actually before the Mahuki Mile portage of the English River. So it was like maybe like the day before that. So obviously like it would be really hard to two-man the boat the whole mile. Like that would be a pain. But these Canadians were like, "Oh, we can get a piece of wood and like drill and like make a new one." And we made like a new yoke for us, and they gave us some food, and that was just so nice.
Did you get your food out of the river though?
We didn't find it all,
But most of it you got, or
we had to actually do like a resupply of food at the there's like a river like fishing inn like a little bit further down the English River that we stopped actually. I think because Delia hurt her neck on one of our portages, so we wanted to get her checked out. So she actually got dropped off there to go get checked out, and then we got more food. And while we were there, we ran into another group of nice people who were fishing there. They like gave us some of their food, and they were telling the story of like, oh, like we always want to help because this one time we were going like to fish in our boat. Like I guess they always come to the English River to the inn, and they were going fishing, and their motorboat broke down. And then this one canoe trip happened upon them and let them use like their sat phone to call for help.
wow.
And that happened to be my first English trip. I remember doing that. Like we helped these people and gave them the sat phone to use so that they could call for help. And it was just a big full circle moment. Did you tell them
that you were a young kid on that trip?
I did. Yeah. So that was crazy. That was definitely like a crazy memory.
But it's that you found a way to figure it out though.
Yeah.
I mean, that teaches you a lot, doesn't it? I mean, it is what it is. Let's just figure this out.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, you know?
Yeah. Definitely glad to have Mara to support through all that. And
And the sat phones are good. We need the sat phones. Don't get me wrong. But I remember talking to my dad a few times, and he just felt like that was a last resort. He wanted people to figure it out without having to call in every time something went wrong. You know, that's the purpose of being out there. And it sounds like that's what you guys were able to do. Was to figure that out.
Figure it out. We did some rationing, figuring out the first day of like what we need to do, and then figured out a plan. But we ended up having like way more food than we needed. Actually, like we were fine. Yeah. But
well, I've heard of trips losing their tin Wanigan.
Oh no!
It's sunk in loggers actually.
Yeah,
and or maybe even before that. And we had canned food at that. You know, back when I was tripping, there was chicken in a can, and whatever else. There was meat in a can. They would use that can to cook the food in, the noodles in.
Yeah,
that was their pot for the rest of the trip because they had nothing else. Nothing. Yeah. So you just make do with what you can.
Yeah, yeah. There's something like really satisfying, almost like about having to do that, or just like having to make a tool or something to fix something.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, you were talking about the LDAC. Is that what you were talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I want you to talk and tell people what this is.
Yeah. Let me see if I remember what Leadership Development Advanced Canoeing. I think that's the acronym.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
But that was like a program that they started for maybe like high school age people, I want to say. And I did that, and I think you got to come for like an extra week before like the rest of campers came, and then you got to do the whitewater training down in Duluth, Minnesota. and do like an intense like 2-day course there that I think was really helpful to learn like all these whitewater skills.
Absolutely.
And it's really fun. And then you do like a little like 3-day canoe trip and have all these different like talks about like leadership or different soft skills for how to be a leader and different like team building activities and stuff. So I feel like that was really like
a good program.
a good program. Yeah.
Yeah. Very helpful with the, helping develop leadership qualities. And
Yeah.
That's great. Well, there's been some great ones come out of there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I've been slowly meeting more and more. And it's funny you bring up Rosie Ecker, that you two were on a trip together. I mean, the Ecker Upson name together again. I mean, her dad Buzz and your dad Steve. I mean, they knew each other very well. And you talk about some funny stories with two guys. Your dad with Buzz Ecker, there were some hilarious stories back in the day, actually out at the farm with those guys going hunting, rabbit hunting out there. Your dad shared a couple stories that are classic that we won't get into now. But well, Sarah, anything else? I mean, I appreciate you coming today and doing this. And is there anything else that you want to share or say or do? And I, you feel I'll open it up to you. If not, it's no big deal. But
thanks for having me on. I think this podcast is really good for everybody. Just like reminisce. I feel like camp has a big history of like oral storytelling. And like just passing on stories, I feel like is a very camp thing. So
a lot of people that we can't have on here now because they've left us. I wish my dad, Dexter, Tim Heinley, your dad. I mean, there's so many people. I wish we started this a while ago, but we've still got a great group of people on here, and I appreciate you coming on. We could sit here and talk for a while, I know, and I know hopefully we can catch up out at the farm here sometime soon, and I think we're going to go out again in June. And in August, we like getting everything cleaned up and mowed up and everything. So we keep that going. So you have to come out. I let your mom know so she can let you know when we're out there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And also, we'd love to see you come back up north sometime.
To
visit. You need to see
I definitely miss it. Yeah.
You got to come up and visit and check out the new buildings that you haven't seen since 2020. I mean, it's really growing and by building and by people too. I mean, it's in a great spot, and I know you helped build it and put it there. So, but thanks for coming today, Sarah, and I appreciate you being on the show, and can't wait to see you again.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.